get the fuck out of my house, cocking your arm back with you within a foot or foot and a half, that a reasonable person would fear. Well, she said she felt threatened.
She's living independently.
Is there no case law that defines a household?
I would ask the prosecutor the same question.
I'm asking you both, because that's the question. What makes a household? Shared space?
I think the most natural reading of household means either it's a family unit or people who have really voluntarily chosen as co-lessees in the same space to be roommates. And
Well, that's what these people have done. That's what these people have done. They're roommates. I even asked her, so you're roommates? She said, yeah. They're sharing common space. They share a kitchen. They share a bathroom. The fact that they've got two different entrances into all those spaces doesn't lessen the fact that there's common area. Prior fact issue. I think there's enough there. The whole truth, nothing but the truth today. All right, come on up here. There's a ramp right here. Don't trip. You're going to take that chair right there. All right, Ms. Evans, have a seat there. Settle in. When you're ready, counsel.
And good morning, Ms. Evans. Can you please spell your name for the record?
Janae Evans, J-A-N, I-A-E, Evans, E-D-A-N-S.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Now, were you present at a 35012 Michelle Drive in Romulus, Michigan on October 10th, 2025? Okay, and what is that residence? And were you there with someone else on that day? Who? And does Danny have a last name?
Yeah.
Now, who is Danny related to?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Dating at the time?
Thank you.
So if you could, I know this is microphone, you gotta be like right up to it, so if you want to adjust it, you do so. Feel free.
That better?
A little hard,
That better?
a little closer.
Okay.
There you go. You got that?
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
So, ex-boyfriend dating, fair to say that point him out if you had to. All right, so is he here in the court today?
He is in a gray jacket.
At this time, and ask the record identified?
Noted.
All right, so you were there with Mr. Adams that day. Were you there, early in the morning of that day? Did anything happen? How did he work here?
Yes, he woke up angry. Taking a fight at me. He jumped on top of me, but it like came against my face. It was just that heavy.
All right, I'm just gonna stop you there for a minute. So you said, put your hand up to you and you gestured,
He was on this, like push my face to the laying on my bed. He was beside me. And he put his hand on my face, pushed my face up against the wall, and threw his fist back up. He was gonna hit me.
and just for the record to reflect, witness grabbed her left hand, put her thumb on one jaw and her index finger on the other jaw, lifted it up, till her head was stretched back, and then balled her other fist, about 90 degrees, upward.
Noted.
After that, did anything, did he say anything at that time?
We were just arguing about it, but the details of arguments were, the fight began, essentially, technically the night before, we didn't have, my daughter told me to stop that she just don't want to. So it started off that night, went to bed angry, woke up still angry, just that, what it was more about nonsense. And then it escalated where he put his hands on me. And then I got up, I was like, get ready for work, told him I'm getting home, you know. At that time, we said, everybody, I was like, you go here, I'm going to Australia, I'm getting home, I'm gonna drive to stay. Okay, that's fine.
But his statement?
No, she's testifying to her own statement. Which is not a court statement, off with the truth of the matter, is very, of what she said.
Okay,
So. You recall saying those things? correct?
yes, correct.
So going ahead, after this physical altercation, you said you went your separate ways, correct?
So I was getting ready for work, that's what I was doing. I was getting ready for work. And I had been, and taking care of my mother. So getting to work, taking care of my mom, and on to my kitchen area. And I could see out the open window where my daughter was going to talk her. It's coming back into my driveway.
Okay. And did you see a driver?
Yes, I can get I was my front door open up. I'm gonna open my,
So let me just clarify. So you're outside right now?
no, I'm inside looking out. So when I look out, I'll walk out, open my door, and then I'm outside.
Okay.
My side door.
So now you're outside your side door and you see. What do you see?
Yeah, I think, you know, my daughter's boiling his car. He throws the keys at me. My daughter's boiling the keys and walks down to my car, which is now parked on the side of the road in the house.
So your car is parked on the side of the road in front of your,
Yes.
and what happens next?
He asked me, am I hungry? Like, would he please put my car back in the driveway? And he, I mean, I'm objecting, guys. Okay, well, I asked him to put my car back in.
Hold on.
Oh,
No, I can answer it. You just can't. So, Judge, I don't know if it's. It's her statement, she can testify to what she said in the moment. I don't think it's hearsay.
Overrule the objection, move on.
So, going forward. What happened?
Oh, he hopped my car. He asked me if I was ready. I told him to put my car back in my driveway. I was like, I need to put my car back in my driveway. If you don't, I did say I will call the police. And then he said, what are you gonna be able to do if you got sister? Call the police. He said, nothing's gonna happen to me, because I've never been in trouble, essentially. And he took off my car. I called the one, where we're at now.
Alright, so he drove off in what vehicle?
My Jeep, my 2019 Jeep Cherokee.
Okay, and is that his name? Does he have keys to that? Have keys, have you ever given him, or I'm sorry, have you given him a set of keys for that? He's never made a, did I ask, has he ever made a payment for that vehicle? And did you give permission to use that vehicle?
I did not.
Judge, I don't think I have anything further.
Ms. Khan, questions for Ms. Evans?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna ask you some questions. If you don't understand the question or need me to rephrase it, let me know and I'll do my best.
No problem.
At the time of the incident, you and Mr. Adams were dating.
Correct.
Mr. Adams spent a lot of time at your house.
Good.
Okay. You would occasionally spend the night.
Good.
You would go back between your house and his cousin's.
Correct. Or his mother's house.
Oh, or his mother's house, thank you. And when you would stay at your house, you would stay in your bedroom
Correct.
and you had a physical relationship.
Correct.
And Mr. Adams, and you, on direct indicated that there had been some fight related to your daughter the day before, correct?
Correct.
Did your daughter live with you?
She is.
How old is she?
She is 22.
Who else lives there?
My daughter, her boyfriend, and my elderly mother.
Mr. Adams does not have his own car,
He does not.
but he's previously used your car.
Yes, he has.
He's run errands.
He has, yes.
He sometimes would use your car to go grab his personal effects from his cousin's or mom's house.
He has done that, yes.
And in fact, he used your car the day before you called the police, correct?
And I said, don't remember.
Yes. Let's see.
I don't remember the day before. I take that back. I drove my car. I took him to his mom's house to pick up his things. I drove.
Okay, and what day was that?
I think that was the day before. That would have been that day before, the day before that. It was between that day and the day before that. Can't remember that.
Okay, that's okay. How many times would you say that Mr. Adams had driven your car on his own previously?
A handful of times. He's driven, cause he did help me with my mom before. So he took me to work and went back and got my mom to, do things with my mother. Yeah, so it's been a handful of times where I gave him permission and said, yes.
Okay, and the length of you and Mr. Adams' permission, relationship was about 2 months.
Correct.
And at the time of the incident, when you called the police, you were under the influence
No,
of marijuana?
no,
You talked. You gave a victim statement to the police, the Romulus Police Department. Okay. And would you recognize that statement if you saw it?
I would.
Ready to go, bro?
Sure.
Miss Evans, can you tell me what it says at the top?
Domestic violence incident, victim statement.
And I was pointing, that's your main thing,
That is correct.
and that is your signature at the bottom,
That's correct.
and that was signed on 10/10/25.
That is correct.
And that's the date of the incident.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And under the check marks, were drugs and alcohol involved, there's a check mark on the yes box.
Yeah, but not me. I didn't, I wasn't saying me.
Okay. Were you saying that Mr. Adams is under this?
That's correct.
I didn't think there was.
Ms. Evans, you can step down. Any other witnesses from the people? Any defense witnesses? Ready for argument? Watch your step on the ramp, Ms. Evans.
About legal.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I would, well, I would.
Calling Lisa Johnson.
Thank you. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Watch your step on this ramp right here and take that chair. Did you say yes to the
Yes.
oath? Thank you. Have a seat. When you're ready, Mr. Kaplan.
Hey, Good morning, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, are you employed?
On and off,
What type of work do you do or have you done?
house beans.
Ms. Johnson, you know the first name Scott James?
Yes.
You saw Scott James again, you think you'd recognize him? Let
Is that a
Judge,
yes, ma'am?
Yes.
let Judge Oakley know when you see this.
Yes, I see it.
What's he wearing? Reflect the witnesses identified Scott James.
Striped tie?
Huh?
Striped tie?
Yeah,
Noted.
yes.
Thank you. How do you know Scott James?
Brother, excellent.
Taking you back in time to the summertime, 2025. Where were you living?
December 10,
Summertime, 2025.
4135 Road.
I'm sorry, I'm getting that.
41825 Tyler Road.
TYLER,
Yes.
as of the President John Tyler. We'll see you at the property.
Oh,
Did you
oh,
lease or who did you pay rent?
who?
Yeah.
James. On my head.
This the defendant?
Sheila James, his wife. On and on my head.
Did anything unusual happen to you on December 10, 2025 at the Tyler Street home?
Yes.
What happened that was unusual?
I thought it was actually January 10th. No, it was, I'm sorry. Well, I called Sheila because he left me a note. And
I don't want to delve into all of that. I just want to know if anything unusual happened to you.
yes, he raised his fist to me in the dog died.
Where did he raise his fist? What room or where was it?
My room.
How far were you from Mr. James when he raised his fist to you?
I was sitting down on the couch and he was like right at the edge of.
I'm gonna walk towards you and not to invade your space, just to try to gain the distance. Tell me when to stop.
Right.
So Judge, may the record reflect the distance of maybe 1/2 to 1 foot.
That was very rushed. I would like
Sure.
to ensure that Ms. Yance is identifying the right distance in her testimony between.
Okay.
That's why we have cross-examination.
So approach the bench.
Don't want
Was-
to invade her space.
Was Mr. Yance that close to you or closer?
Just to say,
James,
Mr. James, I'm sorry.
he was a little bit closer.
All right, so,
In the middle of the grade.
okay, so with-
2 feet, Judge.
within a foot, foot and a half?
Yeah, I mean, long,
Okay,
enough for the dog to just jump over me.
All right, stand if you would, look at the judge and make the gesture that Mr. James made toward you.
Like, get the F out of my house, you effing bitch, and he went like this. And he didn't strike his arm, but he was saying that stuff, and then the dog jumped over me.
and he pulled
I
his
was
hand,
still sitting
did he
down.
pull his fist back? Noted for the record.
What thinking or feeling he raised his fist to you? Correct me as to what?
As to he's violent, I've seen a good side of Scott.
Didn't ask you that. I asked you how you were feeling when the fist was leveraged toward you.
A little bit threatened, yes.
All right, moving on to a second topic, and that is the home itself. Where was Scott James living on this date of December 10, 2025?
Well, in the midsection of the house, they have a room upstairs, they say,
How many addresses are in this home? One or more?
I mean, there's only one address.
No, address.
There's only one address.
That's what I asked, you. One on type.
Yeah.
But what's the relationship on December 10th? Where is Scott James staying and where are you staying?
Obviously the same areas. I mean, he's living there again as far as I know of, and I stay in my area.
In essence, you were roommates. In essence, you were roommates sharing the house?
How many keys are there? How many locks are there, different locks with keys?
Each door. No, I
I
don't
understand, but do you and Mr. James have separate keys or do you have the same key?
stop her. Except for there's the one door that goes to the front room, there's no key for that door. It's just screwed shut.
All right, so part of the house you didn't have access to.
Right. I mean, I have access to it because, I'm renting it or whatever, but again, I know I don't have that much access to it because I don't have, we're caught up on rent. So,
Are you permitted to enter other parts of the home?
yeah,
Limited as to which parts of the home you may enter.
she's never told me I can't go anywhere else.
So my question is, do you use other parts of the home?
Yeah, sometimes
For what purposes?
she uses the bathroom, and shower.
And specifically, what room, and maybe you said this and I missed it, so old age or. In what room did this occur?
My living.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Yance. Questions for you? Oh. You agree that Scott James never hit you on December 10th, 2025?
Right.
You have suffered no injuries that day.
No,
Your testimony was that you were sitting down when Scott approached you.
yes.
You were already interacting with Sheila before this happened, right?
Yes, I saw her down space, and she was afraid of my face.
Okay, so safe to say there was some sort of verbal argument going on between you and Sheila?
Objection, not relevant as to the alleged assault. It's a third party. No consequence to your honor to make any findings.
What's the relevance?
I'm asking about the direct circumstances going on when she said this was happening. You're just trying to build a context.
I'll allow it.
So there was a verbal argument going on between you and Sheila when Mr. James made this gesture that you saw.
Yes, and then she called them in,
I'm sorry, Sheila.
called them in.
And so you stated that this dog jumped over you.
Yes.
So
Behind me, he was threatened, he felt threatened, he could feel the tension,
all right, I'd ask you not to speculate on what the dog can feel, but what kind of chair were you sitting in? A couch.
Now sitting at the edge of the,
Okay. Do you know if the dog, did it have to claw up on the back of the couch?
well, we could move it back.
So the dog completely jumped from the ground and completely scaled the couch and landed on Mr. James.
Sitting behind me on the couch. They were literally sitting right behind me, just watching that.
I see. So the dog from sitting on the couch gets up from the couch and then,
Well, no, he didn't get up, he did lunge.
So,
He was trying to strike me, so the dog threatened, the dog obviously threatened.
and your testimony was a raised fist with no forward movement, right?
Right.
So talking about the house a little bit more. So just to be clear, there are separate front doors for your part of the house and for Sheila and Scott's part of the house.
Yes, I believe they just took the entrance apart to where they could open that door. Cause they had it locked off.
But the answer to my question is yes, separate front doors, separate keys.
Yeah.
Yes. And you paid rent for your part of the house to Sheila James, wife of Scott.
Not at that present moment, I was in the midst of starting to pay her, I had $50 for her, that was what the argument was over. And he's took over $150.
Okay, that's not my question. My question is about payment of rent. Let me, since there seems to be some problem with payment, let me ask this.
well, you text the colloquy, it's an editorial here, you should ask questions and not make his own comments.
I'm ready with my questions.
Go ahead.
You were expected to pay rent to Sheila James for staying at the
I was
house.
giving them $50 each time I got paid. She
Okay,
said she was writing it down. I asked her to show it to me. She never showed it to me. I had the $50 the night that all happened. I had the $50 to give to her.
and the $50 that you were expected to pay to Miss James each time you got paid is for the privilege of you living at that house.
Yes.
You don't own the house.
No, I don't own this.
Sheila is essentially your landlord.
That's what you want to say. She don't know if it move in.
For payment of rent.
At the very first time, she said I didn't have to pay. I helped to get the house together because it was trash.
But after you moved in, an expectation of payment of rent
Right.
was established. Yes.
Yes.
Did you ever have a lease?
No.
No. And the understanding was that you were paying rent for your side of the house. Like you didn't have a, let me say this. You never had a right to sleep in Scott and Sheila's bedroom.
No, why would I do that? I had my own space and we're not a couple or anything.
Right. So you certainly have no intimate relationship with Scott James, with Sheila James.
No.
Neither of them are your blood relatives. And did you say that there was a door that was screwed shut in the house? What door would that be?
The main door that goes to the actual living.
So is that to say that the door is screwed shut in order to block passage from your side of the house to their side of the house?
Yes.
And
It's mainly more for security reasons for the animals.
okay, understood. So you did mention that you were upset, you believed that Mr. James had stolen your groceries.
Yes.
And what led you to believe that?
Because of the
Let me
letter.
move this back, it's another bad apple, it has nothing to do with this case. It's irrelevant anyway.
Irrelevant, or the relevance? Thank you.
Mr. James and Ms. James are in the process of evicting you, is that right, Ms. Yance? I'm safe to say you do not want to be evicted?
If I fix it, get it caught up with rent, I just can't afford a large amount to.
Nothing further.
No regret.
All right, so I'm still confused about the living situation. Were there portions of the house that you all use commonly? Okay. All right, so the bathroom was a shared bathroom. The kitchen was a shared kitchen. All right, you had a bedroom that they stayed out of the bedroom. They had a bedroom, you stayed out of that bedroom. All right. Any questions as a follow-up?
If I could, Your Honor. Did your section of the house have its own bathroom that was maybe not in working order?
No.
No bathroom,
I put a commode in there.
I see. Did your side of the house have its own kitchen or kitchenette? Kitchen. Did your side of the home?
I prepared one, I use my appliances, put them on the table. Because I don't want no interaction. With them. With, arguing and fighting, I'm trying to say.
Okay, that, you answered.
Bless you. You can step down. Watch your step on the ramp.
Officer, Benjamin.
Raise, swear affirm that the, swear, I was gonna put you on a bond. Swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth today?
Yes, sir.
Have a seat.
Yeah, you're,
Please.
sir.
Yes.
Dr. Godwin, good to see you.
You, sir.
How do you spell your last name?
B-E-D-D-E-N-D-O-R-F.
Sir, with respect to this case, are you able to tell the judge the formal or recorded addresses of both the complaining witness and the defendant?
Yeah, it's a single family home broken into multiple parts.
So is there
They all
one
have the same
recorded
address.
addresses?
One address,
What's that address?
41835 Tyler Road,
Do your reports show where Lisa lived and complaining?
at 41835 Tyler Road.
And what about the defendant?
The same, 41835 Tyler Road.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
Detective Bedenbrook, you've obviously come across situations where a single address is split into separate units, right?
Come across where people rent rooms out of a house, yes.
Right.
But it's not listed as an address. It's listed as the main address.
Okay, just because there may not be unit numbers or separate addresses attached to an address in your training experience, that doesn't mean that people are automatically living together.
I don't answer that. That's
All right, nothing further, thank you.
Is there any type of insignia beyond the address like 41185, 41835A, and 41835B?
No, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
You can step down. Anything else from the people, Mr. Kaplan? Defense witnesses?
None.
I'm ready for argument.
Not the crime of the century, but two issues. First, you know your job already mentioned, but first question is, was there an assault? If there was not an assault, then the case falls. Judge, although the defendant did not strike the victim, he placed her in fear of suffering a battery. As we know, an assault is either an attempted battery or an attempt to place a person in fear of suffering a battery. When he's right in her face, Judge, with the fists clenched and they're having a conversation which is acrimonious, that's the type of conduct that would lead her reasonably to believe that she's going to be the victim of an assault. So if Your Honor does find there's an assault, the question is the proper charge of domestic violence or an assault and battery? Statute says if they're members of the same household, it's domestic violence. In this case, you've heard that they both live at 41835 Tyler. There's only one address. She has the run of she can enter almost every other room in their house. It's like a household. It's an unusual living situation, but we think it's enough to qualify as a question of fact as to whether domestic violence occurred.
Judge, couple things. First, I'd like to rehash what the testimony about this purported assault was. I think it was a little embellished just then by Prosecutor Kaplan. Not that she said about a foot and a half away, while Mr. James was standing and while Ms. Gans was sitting. So that, if you also factor in the height difference, the space of the height, standing versus sitting, in addition to the distance away of their bodies, about a foot and a half. I think that undercuts that this was fear of an immediate battle. I mean, if I'm, obviously this is a larger space yard, but if I'm doing this to you, saying, Judge Oakley, I'm gonna punch you, my position, that's definitely not an immediate battery, because how could I get I can't immediately get over there and punch you in the face. At this point, I'm just taunting. And I since there was no follow through, Miss Yance testified that there was never any forward movement of that fist, even according to taking everything she said at face value. I don't know if you even have an assault there. And then the other issue, I don't think there's even a question of fact about whether this is a domestic relationship. You don't need separate addresses, you don't need unit numbers, you don't need insignia to establish that someone lives in one part of a house and someone lives in another part of the house. They even screwed shut a door to establish this is your space, this is your space.
That wasn't the testimony. The testimony was the door was shut to keep the animals from roaming. That was the testimony.
Well, we also have separate front entrances, we have separate keys. Yes, these people know each other. Yes, these people sometimes welcome each other into each other's spaces. But it might not be the Ritz, but she's self-sufficient in her side of the house, a little kitchenette, uses a commode. Nothing bars her from living that way. She's living independently.
Is there no case law that defines a household?
I would ask the prosecutor the same question.
I'm asking you both. Because that's the question. What makes a household? Shared space?
I think the most natural reading of household means either it's a family unit or people who have really voluntarily chosen as co-lessees in the same space to be roommates. And
Well, that's what these people have done. That's what these people have done. They're roommates. I even asked her, so you're roommates? She said, yeah. They're sharing common space. They share a kitchen. They share a bathroom. The fact that they've got two different entrances into all those spaces doesn't lessen the fact that there's common area. It's probably a fact issue. I think there's enough there. A, get the fuck out of my house, cocking your arm back with you within a foot or foot and a half. That a reasonable person would fear. Well, she said she felt threatened. So I think a reasonable person could see that as an imminent threat. And as far as this is a household or is it not, to meet the definition of the statute, that's up to the trier of fact to decide.
May I amend my design? Yeah, just trying to see what you see.
The victim's from Canada, and he's presently in Vancouver, Barrett.
Oh, good for him.
So,
That's late to be bear hunting in Vancouver.
call his wife,
Judge, speaking of bears, my friend and I were camping, and then we hear outside the tent, a huge crowd. So I went outside the tent, there's a bear coming at us. And my friend said, we have to run, we have to go, we have to go. I said, I usually have to outrun you.
He's bad. So you've got the restitution number.
I don't think the victim wants restitution because it's all covered through his insurance.
Okay,
I just think he wants it to be done with.
okay. Okay. Looks like it might not be today's issue anyhow.
Good format is working.
Do you think so? We think it's dragging terribly.
Well, the reason we like it, Judge, the early exam.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of waiting around time for me. But I don't think it's the system. I think it's the players.
We get you too, Chris.
No, I appreciate that. Go let the attorney know that this was scheduled at 10. It's now 6 minutes to 11. I'm gonna either call the case to hold it or call the case to plea it, but I'm gonna call the case.
It's a topic.
Not on my dime.
They're gone. I know more about her than I know about myself.
She's not in the way, Judge.
Open judge, or, you know,
That, you know, we were just talking about that too. That's the other thing that drives us nuts is the attorneys that get here and they've had no conversation with you. They've had no conversation with the client and they're using this like their conference. No, no, no. If you're going to do that, get here an hour early.
we can solve many cases, Judge.
People versus Headwood, appearances, please.
Yeah, on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Judge Oakley, Rosemary Carroll, on behalf of Brandon Hedwig.
Thank you.
P number 37888. I apologize, we were waiting for Mr. Kaplan to finish, and this plea offer happened very quickly. So I just had to go.
It was probably available last week. It was probably available last week. If you would have talked to him before today at the time the exam was scheduled. So are we holding or are we pleading?
That's because it's a trial of 3 courts a day.
Not my problem. I'm just saying the time to have the conversation with the attorney is not after the exam was scheduled. The exam was scheduled 55 minutes ago. Counsel, sit in the chair. Are we holding or are we pleading?
We're pleading. One of their
Okay.
witnesses didn't show up today.
Okay. What's the plea?
Here is the form, man.
Sure.
Yelling at me.
Because you're an hour late. I've been waiting for an hour for this.
10:05 sitting in
I've been here since 8.
Mohammed. I'm not an hour late.
Okay.
Steve was in early 10.
Bring your address to court on.
Sure.
That counsel persuaded us to reduce the charge. With your permission, guilty plea to an added second count, attempted unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, 1-year offense, and we do have a sentencing record.
Which is probation and no contact. Do you know Mr. O'Neill? Okay. All right, Mr. Hedwood, do you discuss your rights with counsel? You understand those rights? You understand the options those rights give you? You understand the possible penalty for the added charge today? Are you pleading guilty to that charge today? Are you doing so freely and voluntarily? Counsel, why don't you voir dire and get me the facts that support the plea? Sure.
Sir, were you at the airport on January 21 of 2024? Did you use another person's vehicle without permission?
Yeah.
And the airport's located in Romulus?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack.
Both satisfied with the facts?
Didn't get me assisted in the best part of this. But yeah, satisfied.
I'll accept the plea. I'll dismiss the felony count. Counsel, what's your pleasure? Immediate sentencing?
Sentence.
Tell me something about your guy.
May I allocate?
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Edward is working full-time. He's been at the same place. It's called Rose. We are
Yep.
SD in New Boston, Michigan. It's a manufacturing company. He works on welding. He actually was offered the opportunity to take a class in LA, but it began today or yesterday. He did get a letter from his job, but I told him that the court takes priority. So he didn't go, but they're going to still offer him a promotion and the chance to do that again. He has a 3-year-old daughter, and although he has priors, he is not hanging around with the same group of people or persons who I happen to represent in a major stolen car case years ago, who was taking advantage of him. He's not, no contact with him whatsoever. He wants to turn around his life. The first thing he said to me when I did my initial interview is, I'm tired of this. I've made too many mistakes. I'm setting a bad example for my daughter. I want to just get this taken care of. And so I would respectfully request that the court sentence him to probation. I don't know if he would be able to do a couple of reporting and then some call-in probations and the fines and costs.
Thank you. How long you been at Bros, Mr. Hedwood?
This location has been like 2 years, but Bros overall like 6 years.
6?
Yeah.
What's this class they want to send you to?
I'm trying to get licensed to actual weld instead of just working in the weld lab and being trained by them.
Okay,
So basically, I'll be able to move around to any location that's needed. So it's just basically making sure I have hours. Because, in the automotive industry right now, the hours fluctuates. But if you're actually a licensed welder, you'll never have downtime.
right. All right. All right, not on probation anywhere?
It's about to be closed out on February 5th on that case. Unfortunately, this, you know, I just talked to this probation officer, puts him in a little bad position, but I'm gonna go to court with him on that case as well.
That's on the controlled substance case out of 2023. Mhm. Okay. Sure.
Recommending reporting probation. We're hoping they do need it, that he not visit the airport in any way unless he's a passenger on a plane.
And that's fine, he has no plans to have to write forms in there. Yeah, unless he's a passenger on a plane.
So that's the no contact, is no contact at the airport.
As far as reporting, I mean, I don't want to lose his job, I don't know how much, but he'd have to report. I know a lot of the district courts are now having the report 2 times a person and then by Zoom or by phone the rest of the.
I leave that all up to my probation department, whatever they're comfortable with. Usually they want to do some, like you said, start with a couple lives,
Thank you.
make them happy and they'll make it easy on you. Just that simple. All right. Anything else, counsel, Mr. Headwood?
He's been extremely cooperative. He did have a call from an old retained attorney who never filed an appearance, so I kind of stuck with him because I could see that he had a decent attitude and was working hard.
Good. All right, pretty simple. I'm going to put you on a 12-month reporting probation. Stay out of the metro airport unless you got a plane ticket and stay out of trouble. Court costs, fines of court costs, assess the amount of $1,000. Go downstairs and talk about options down there. Good luck.
Thank you so much, and again, I apologize greatly, I'm never late.
No problem.
Did get here, and I was sitting in with the other prosecutor waiting for Mr. Kaplan, and
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Be safe, fellas.
I think very nice, I find those rights before he signed the big one. I've got the most respect for the sport, Judge Oakley, so I don't.
Thank you, counsel. No, I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm just frustrated because we're having more and more problems with attorneys that aren't showing up. And then when they do want to show up, they want to have their first ever conversation with a defendant. It's very frustrating. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm just telling you why I'm so frustrated today.
Have you given a stand-in for anyone?
I don't think so. Lane's guy's on his way. Yeah. All right. Have a good day. You're going downstairs to talk to probation.
I will do it at no cost or being signed or anything.
She said she just more, she thought she had a lot more, well, honesty out of people when it was all one-on-one like that. And I'm a good lawyer, I can argue both sides of the coin, right? So I see that value, but there's also a lot of value. I look back and say, look, raise your hand if you've had the same problem when you were first in the program. And they come around, all hands are like, okay, I'm in this together.
You see the people getting rewarded. He thinks there's huge value in people seeing them getting punished.
You see them, I can't tell you how many times I was, there's somebody that you can they'll go back and one of the people in the field will say, they're telling, like, I can't find I can't relate to. And they'll talk to some people, say, try this meeting here. They meet Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think all we use your support is you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you came up.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Are we scratching, Judge?
I have been, yeah.
All right, People versus Lang.
Thank you.
Appearances, fellas.
Stephen Kaplan, Good morning, Mayor Attorney Thomas Ford, 277-177. You say your name for the record, sir?
Robert Lang.
Thank you, sir. You can sit down, Mr. Lang. You're real people. They train the attorneys to jump up to talk to us. All right, I've got a plea agreement in front of me. It says here that Mr. Lang is going to plead to illegal transportation of a firearm. We've got the MCL number, Heather, which is a 90-day misdemeanor. I'm being asked to dismiss the felony charge for November 17th. And sentencing recommendation is forfeiture of the weapon, probationary term, and no possession or use of a firearm for 18 months. That's the deal?
That is right.
All right, Mr. Lang? All right. Did you discuss your rights with counsel?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand those rights?
Yes.
You understand the options presented today because of those rights?
Yes.
You understand how an exam works, the exam that was scheduled today?
Never been to court.
Like, it's like a little mini hearing that if you wanted to go forward with the exam, the prosecutor was gonna have to prove two things to me. One, that there was a crime committed, and two, that you had something to do with the crime. You understand that? Okay. And you understand the possible penalty for this new charge? All right, are you pleading guilty to that charge today freely and voluntarily? All right, counsel, would you voir dire to get me the facts to support the plea? Incident date November 17th.
Yes, sir. Sure, on November 17th, 2025, were you transporting a weapon? Yes. In what city were you in? And is that in Wayne County? Yes. State of Massachusetts? And, you were doing so without a valid signal at the time, correct? Yes, sir. Because the weapon was concealed on your person in a car? Yes. Judge says.
So am I. Seems to me immediate sentencing would be appropriate.
Yes. People concur.
Mr. Kaplan, anything to add other than the recommendations I already threw out? Counsel, anything you'd like to say by way of allocution from Mr. Lane?
Just thank you for the opportunity here. My client is 38. He's never had any criminal contact. He's a full-time farmer. He did have a valid CPL. We're not making excuses. It expired. We're not great with paperwork. Went to a different address. He understands the guilt and the seriousness of keeping those things valid. He's not going to make a mistake again. And he does not make a lot of money, and so we would ask anyone to see the court has.
Thank you. This sucks. Anything you want to add?
Stan?
No, you're all right. Like I said, you're real people. You can sit.
I looked through my 2024 paperwork. I was married when I got the gun. My wife helped me do the paperwork. I've been divorced since 2020, so we don't have contact.
Yeah.
The defendant is very gracious, man, he's a hard worker, but Judge, I reduced the case.
Yeah.
I'm not sure many APs would have done so, but I did so because of Mr. Portis.
Mr. Lang, you can't buy a cup of coffee with what I'm going to tell you next, but I want you to hear my heart. I've been on this bench for 27 years, I think. Every once in a while, and this is one of them, it just sucks. Because this, even with that great deal, this is still a harsh penalty for you.
Yes.
And I just, like I said, you can't buy a cup of coffee with what I'm telling you. I just want to acknowledge that a paperwork problem shouldn't be this harsh, but sometimes it is. All right. I'm going to go along with the recommendation. I'm going to put you on probation for 18 months. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be on probation for 18 months, because anytime after 9 months, you can petition the court to terminate your probation. So I'm assuming you can stay out of trouble because you've done so for 38 years. All right. So here's what I'm going to recommend, or here's what I'm going to say. Probationary terms are: do not purchase, possess, or possess a firearm while you're on probation. No new charges while you're on probation, and fines and costs are $500. Can you pay that today?
Yes.
Any clarification necessary, fellas? Mr. Lang, you clear on what you need to do?
Yes, sir. Is that okay? Is a personal check okay, or?
It's going to be a good one, isn't it? Then absolutely.
That was.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I think that gets us down to Brown.
It's unresolvable, Your Honor.
I have the utmost faith.
Not according to what.
I know.
I'm not avoiding work. That guy moves like he's 60. He must have some serious back problems. It's just because he's bald.
I think it's.
You're a Harris. You treat him differently because he's bald.
And how he's.
Ed, what was the guy's name that I said he was 5 years younger than me? The domestic violence?
Yeah. Smart, small.
I don't know, but he went 66. He looks like he's in this. You probably won't remember, the kid's name was Ferrets. We talked to him back in November, kid hadn't been to school all year, over a year, hadn't been to school. So getting sworn in at the jail.
Good.
Do you want?
It is whenever they go.
We have an exam in Brown. Earl Watts, I think is the.
No, Vanessa Moss.
Oh, Vanessa Moss, I was close.
That's the mall. Oh, I guess you turned an M upside down.
Just wanted to see.
And 2 S's and 2 T's. I mean, you know.
Are we holding it?
Where's your wife at today?
Well, thanks for asking. Did you meet her?
Yeah. Yeah, I asked her why she was still hanging out with you.
Just break it out of Henry Ford Hospital. You know the agency in Pro.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
She's 1-3.
Counselors, your appearances for People versus Bradley Brown.
Careful when you hear people.
Well, one thing, this is not important as it was, P65901. NDS, Bradley Brown, who is standing to my left, please place your name in the record.
Now you can sit down, sir. Are we ready?
Yeah, Judge, we have 2 witnesses, my officer in charge is here, so he wants to see with me, and our first witness, Your Honor, is Jesus Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, come on up front here. Watch your ramp. There's an incline, or watch your step on my incline ramp right here. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Settle in that chair right there. When you're ready, Mr. Kaplan.
Your Honor. Good morning to you, Mr. Sanchez. Nice to see you, sir. How old are you, Mr. Sanchez?
20, just yeah, 20.
20? My shoes older than you. Mr. Sanchez, what do you do for work?
I'm a apprentice electrician.
Oh, very good. Sir, were you working on September 29th of last year, 2025?
Yes, I was.
What were you doing at about 3:30 p.m.?
Getting off of work.
Are you in a cab or Uber, or are you walking, or do you have your own vehicle?
I had no vehicle.
What type of vehicle?
It's a 2014 GMC truck.
Where were you traveling to when you left work that day?
I was going straight home.
What route did you take?
I was going 275 south and then 940.
You're not reading from a report, are you?
No, this is my own. I know it.
What type of vehicle were you traveling in?
In a GMC truck.
Are you alone or with passengers?
Just myself.
While you were on the freeway,
Mr. Sanchez,
Yeah.
just move that mic up, roll your chair in, and then you don't have to keep bending down. It'll pick you up. You're loud. You'll be all right.
Mr. Sanchez, while you were traveling on I-275, did anything unusual happen?
So the whole thing started when I went out to the left lane, and then I went into the middle lane, and then that's when the truck went.
Can you describe the truck? Do you know the model or color?
It was the white GMC truck. It was from like 2019 to 2020.
And do you know the city where you were traveling when this happened on I-275?
I was in Canton for work, so I was going down south,
I know, but what, eventually, what city are you?
Romulus.
You mentioned it's wrong.
Yes.
What caused you to first notice it?
He was going fast on the right lane. And I was on the left, I told him to move on to the middle lane. And that's when we both merged, so I found him and turned left to like, to just tell him like, hey, I'm over here, my apologies. And then I went off to turn right to this one. And that's when I seen him with the gun like this.
So is he in a vehicle or is he on foot when you see the vehicle?
He was in the vehicle,
Is he in the back seat or front seat?
front seat,
Is he in the driver's position or the passenger position?
drivers,
Is he alone or does he have passengers?
by himself.
If you saw that person again, you think you recognize him?
Yes.
Look on the courtroom and tell Judge Oakley whether you see that individual.
He's sitting over there.
What is he wearing?
Suit,
Next to it. Female one?
yes.
Noted.
Thank you, Robert. How far is his car from your car?
Couple feet. It was right next to me.
You know what happened? Does he do anything?
He just pointed the gun at me. That's when I sped off and tried to leave the situation.
I'm gonna approach you, not to invade your space. I want you to stop me when I reach the distance between you and the defendant when you notice him with a gun. Judge, I have permission?
Please.
Stop me.
I can out there.
You're gonna make the record reflect the distance of about 7 feet?
Ms. Moss, agreed? About 7 feet? Thank you.
Can you describe the gun?
It had an oval, like chamber, I guess you could say. That's all I seen. It was pretty bright.
Are we talking about a rifle, bazooka, or handgun?
It was a handgun. It's pretty small.
What were you feeling and thinking when you noticed the gun?
I was pretty fearful. I was scared. So I just scared that he might shoot me.
He pointed the gun at you and else to him.
He put it at me.
How long did he point the gun at you?
Maybe a couple seconds, but it felt like minutes to me.
What did you do to do it? Escalate the matter or did you try to avoid it?
I tried to avoid it. I sped off like
Contact any authorities, law enforcement?
after I got a parking plate, I got on call 911 and then told me to wait on the side of the road. Then I met Officer Dane.
Mr. Galloway, am I right?
Yes.
Now, sir, you mentioned a partial plate. Do you remember any of the letters or numbers on that plate?
No, not it's been a while since
If you saw a report that you gave, would that refresh your memory possibly? Is it a license plate, partial plate?
yes.
You know what I mean? Approach it with,
Sure.
well, each doing it before. Take a look at the first paragraph, this is Stacy on here. See if you can remember.
Yeah, easy.
PTT?
Easy.
ETT.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it, would you? Did you meet a trooper named Wayne?
Yes.
See him here today?
Yes, he's sitting over
The
there.
gentleman, am I right?
Yes.
Talking about this.
Yes, I know.
Thank you, Ron, nothing further.
Your witness, counsel.
Mr. Sanchez, good morning. You indicated it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, you getting off work and heading home, is that correct? And you were on I-275, is that correct?
That's correct.
Are you looking at notes?
Just what I wrote. I want to make sure.
He's looking at notes? You should not be looking at notes.
You need, yeah, just set those aside. If you don't remember something, just say, I don't remember.
I'm really bad with freeways, so I won't be able to explain, or not explain, but find out the exact freeways. But if I had a bulletin or a board, I can show you the route I took.
You were on I-275.
Yeah.
At 3:30. About how fast were you driving?
Maybe 70, 75.
70, 75. And you indicated that, my client, that you guys almost collided, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you guys almost collided, but you avoided the collision, you guys kept driving, is that correct?
Yeah.
at 75 miles an hour, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Clarification.
So you indicated that did my client pull up on the side of you?
Yes,
Okay, so were you guys still driving down I-75?
yes, sure.
Okay, did you stop at any time on I-75?
I 75 right, 275.
275.
You stopped on I-275?
No, I did not.
Okay. And you indicated that my client pointed a pistol at you, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you described that pistol.
Canada Striper?
I said, and you described that pistol, is that correct? And you saw that pistol while you guys were still driving, is that correct? Okay. Are your windows tinted in your vehicle?
No, they're not.
Okay. Were the windows tinted in my client's vehicle?
His window was rolled down.
His window was rolled down. Okay. So you said that you guys were a couple of feet apart, right? You said about 7 feet apart, right? So were you behind him or in front of him?
Right next to him.
You were right next to him?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that this pistol was pointed at you. Did you stop at that time?
No, I did not.
How far did you drive?
I drove on to the exit.
Okay, you go to the next. And at that time, you called the police, is that correct?
Was way after that, a little bit after that.
And you said the handgun was oval.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what color it was?
It's been months since that. I won't be able to tell you for sure, but it was pretty. It was like shiny.
Okay, so, are you sure that it was a gun?
Yes, I'm sure it was gonna.
Thank you.
Sure.
Speaking to the judge just a moment ago, that you exited off of I-275. Do you remember the exit?
Yeah, it was on to the night south to go back, or not south, east to go to Detroit.
When you were on I-275 and this incident happened, were you traveling south or north on I-275?
South.
Thank you, Randall.
Any recross?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Sanchez, you can step down. Watch your step on that ramp.
Okay.
Next witness, Mr. Cameron.
Your Honor, we would call Trooper Dane. I mispronounce your name.
Just wait out in the hallway if you would.
Sorry.
Trooper, raise your right hand, swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do, sir.
Settle in that chair. Please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Trooper Dane.
Morning, sir.
Trooper Dane, how many years have you worked for the state police?
About 2 years.
Like your work?
I do.
Trooper Dane, were you working on September 29, 2025 after 3 p.m.?
I was.
Do you remember what hours you worked?
That day it would be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Are you in a marked or unmarked vehicle?
I'm in a market.
First, I should ask you, are you in a vehicle or are you on foot?
I'm on interviews.
Are you alone or with a partner?
I'm alone, sir.
Marked or unmarked vehicle?
Market.
Did you meet a gentleman named Bradley Brown
I did.
on that date of September 29, 2025?
Yes, I did.
If you saw Bradley Brown again, do you think you'd recognize him?
I would.
Look around the courtroom and let Judge Oakley know whether you see Bradley Brown.
I did. See him right there, sir.
Thank you. Noted for the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. Where did you meet Bradley Brown?
I met Bradley at his residence on Mary Street, Taylor.
How is it that you met him at his home address in Taylor?
From the partial plate that Mr. Davis, we used it to search, and we found his residence, with a vehicle description.
When you meet Mr. Brown, you talk to him?
I did.
Before speaking to him, had you arrested him?
I did.
Before speaking to him, had you handcuffed him?
I did not.
Before speaking to him, did you restrain him in any way?
I did not.
What did you talk about with Mr. Brown?
I asked Mr. Brown if he was involved in a traffic incident, regarding the same time at 3:30 on that day in the same vicinity, 275 94.
What did he say in response?
At first he denied it, and then he admitted that he lied,
then he said he was, involved in the traffic incident.
Did he admit or deny pointing a gun at the
He denied pointing the gun at the first, at, Mr.
do you conduct a search of some kind per day?
I did. Mr. Brown said that he had a CPL. I searched under his CPL the weapons that he had registered with his name.
Did you find a weapon?
I did. I found two. One was an MP 22 and another was a 19.
For those of us not versed as well as you are in terms of weapons, what does that mean?
A 1911 is a older style semi-automatic weapon. We typically era of World War II, and then the MMP is just a smaller gun. Chamber is one of the smaller.
Where were you when you searched for the defendant?
I just searched the defendant I just queried it on a computer.
Yes, sir. But when the guns are produced, how does that occur?
They weren't produced. They were just under a general computer search. So I just found his name, and I searched the records for the weapon.
Maybe I missed it.
Are we okay with Mr. Sanchez being in the courtroom? Okay.
So do you actually, I'm confused, but my wife tells me. Did you actually have physical custody?
No, I don't have physical custody. I just searched what weapons he had registered with his name in the state of Michigan.
Thank you, sir. Make it.
Trooper Dan, I just have a couple of questions for you. First of all, I think it's still morning. No, it's still morning.
It's morning somewhere, counsel.
You made contact with my client, is that right? It was at his home, is that?
Yep.
And, said he denied that anything occurred earlier that day, is that correct?
He denied that he was in a traffic accident earlier
He
that
did.
day. When I asked specifically, he was in a traffic accident.
And it's not unusual when you come in contact with people that's been involved with something for them to deny being involved in.
Sure.
Is that correct?
Jackson, 8.3 billion people in the world. It doesn't matter what some other people would do.
So that,
People wonder, oh my.
is that relevant? Is that a relevance objection?
Yeah.
Counsel?
Pleasure. I think it is relevant in the sense that the officer is testifying that he denied as if my client was not taking accountability for his actions. So I just want to make sure that on the record, that he denied, but then he recanted that denial.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
So, my client, while he recanted the denial of being involved in the incident, he did not recant the fact that he pointed a gun. Is that
Yes, he said he did not want it.
absolutely? And you did not find any guns at his home or anything like that?
I did not find any guns at his home, but he did say that he had weapons.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
No redirection.
You can sit down, Troop.
People rest, Your Honor.
Any defense witnesses? Argument.
I'm complaining that this defendant pointed a gun at him at fairly close range on the freeway. There are no visual obstructions to that. Providing the gun to what extent the various done. Then thinking in theory that fix out the element of points. So, and then you heard Your Honor that day, the defendant at first denied that he was involved in a traffic confrontation, but then he said, "Oh yes, I was. I lied." We know that the defendant had a CPL, doesn't help him some kind of CCW charge, but he had all the CPL. And he also owned two guns on the time of the occurrence. We believe a question.
Ms. Moss?
As with the court not buying this case over both charges, we had testimony from the complainant witness who indicated that he saw a gun, but it was only a couple of seconds. He testified that they were still driving at approximately 75 miles per hour on I-275. We also have testimony from the officer who indicated that he does not have custody of the weapons, which means that there was no search of the weapons. They didn't do anything in terms of fingerprints or anything like that. So, Your Honor, I'm asking that this court deny the motion to bind this case. Thank you.
Brief response.
Yes?
In actuality, Judge, we did not need to call Trooper Payne. We had enough evidence with the victim himself, when we called Detective Payne anyway to reinforce the case. Fact is, Judge, and I wasn't there, but the defendant easily could have discarded the gun, disposed of the gun, hid a gun, because if he did what we claim he did, he had the incentive to discard the weapon.
I think it's a trier of fact issue. I'm going to bind over. AOI date will be January 27 at 9 a.m. I'll continue bond. Mr. Brown, I wish you luck.
In this courtroom hearing, a witness named Jade Evans testifies about a confrontation that happened inside a home she shared with others. She explains that during an argument, the defendant became angry, stepped close to her, and raised his fist while yelling, which made her feel threatened. Although he never actually struck her, she says the aggressive gesture and the heated argument made her believe she might be attacked. The defense argues that no physical contact happened and that the distance between them means it was not an immediate threat. However, the prosecutor explains that an assault can still occur if someone places another person in reasonable fear of being hit, even without physical contact. After hearing both sides, the judge decides there is enough evidence for the case to move forward and binds the case over to the next court level for further proceedings. Question: do you think raising a fist without actually hitting someone should still count as assault? If you enjoy real courtroom moments like this, like the video and subscribe for more courtroom content.